Hello, this is my 1976 Honda CB750. My name's Steve and I built this motorcycle and I love it. Has a 900cc vintage Henry Abe big bore piston kit to it. So it's a stock motor with the big pistons. Has a hot cam shafts. Has crankshaft work, a new balancing, new cam chains, new primary chains. All that stuff is fresh and tight in the motor. It's correct. I've built more than 23 Honda CB750 motors. This is my third 900cc motor, and you can trust that I have 20 years of experience of doing this correctly. Has a Dana S ignition on it. It's kickstart and electric start. The airbox has been modified with a K&N filter, so it has better flow, but it still has the ideal flow dynamics with the velocity stacks there inside the tank. The gas tank, you might notice, and the side covers have a really nice paint job on it. They're happy and shiny. The paint is top notch. Let's take a look at the tank. I cut and welded this tank myself. Has these beautiful, a little bit different in that it's a very nice round radius shape here. It's no sharp angles. The emblems are 1960s Honda race emblems I painted to match the tank. These curves here in the tank and the lines of the paint are the same curves that are actually those Honda emblems. If you can take a chance to appreciate the paint here, it's impeccable. It's just about perfect. Consider this like a $3,500 type paint job. Cutouts here for the low clip-ons, the clip-on handlebars meet the cutouts there. They actually fit. They're there for purpose. The seat here is leather made out of a heavy-duty grade leather. I spent $350 on the leather itself before I even built the seat. Has this nice leather detail here. And the idea here is with the seat leather, the foam has a dense foam in the back that's high in the back and low in the front, so you can have a passenger here. The seat itself is going to compress. The leather patch of the rising sun here is going to provide butt traction, so that if you want to bring someone out with you, we have passenger pegs. My wife will ride back there. She likes it. She finds it reasonably comfortable and she doesn't fall off the back. We have 530 O-ring chain. I recently laced up these wheels. These are a vintage DID Japanese rim. I have a 250 by 17 here on the back. These are 1980s Honda's Works Performance shocks, I believe. The exhaust here, if you can take a peek, is a 4:1:2 exhaust. Has a really nice sound to it. Makes the right sounds at the right time. So at night I can cruise into the neighborhood and it's quiet. On the freeway I can get on it and it just blasts when you're on it. The idea here with the two outputs is that the sound waves actually kind of cancel each other out once you get a short distance away from the bike. So it's not as loud as it otherwise would be. Here on the motor, in the valve cover, you'll see we have these nice little vintage touches. Back in the day when you had a really hot cam, the cam towers up underneath this cover would flex. These screws right here actually go down, they press down onto the cam towers to help hold that more rigidly. So that's kind of a vintage race bit right there. It's kind of fun bling. The front brakes here, we have a dual front disc, also with the aluminum laced rim. These are off mid-80s Honda Super Sport forks. The hubs were machined. These are CB550 rotors, which have a different offset, and the little piece was machined here so that it all works together. It provides solid one-finger, rock-hard braking power. It's very nice. You see we have a nice steering dampener here. Headlight and everything works. One of the things I worked on this bike was to try to have a nice level line across from the seat, across the tank, up to the gauges. A lot of times the gauges are way too high on these bikes, I think. And so you can see here, off the polished and modified upper triple tree, that the gauges have an offset here. They sit down a little lower. These are the original miles for the gauge is 23,000 miles, but the motor itself and the suspension and what have you has about I guess we're about 2,000 miles now on the motor, so it's getting broken in. We have the Napoleon brand bar end mirrors. Basically everything works. Everything's perfect. I recently had the motorcycle up at an indicated 130 miles an hour. It indicates a smidgen faster than we're really going. I don't drive that way very often, but you know, I built the motor, I want to see what it could do, and it does it. You note we have these nice braided stainless steel brake lines, heavy duty Acel plug wires. We have Dyna coils inside here. I have nice AMSOIL synthetic oil. Basically everything is right. Everything is to the highest standard. I like doing electrical work. There are no shorts or problems with this. In fact, I have a set of vintage Japanese plugs, new old stock, where I went through and I replaced all the connections. So all the electrical connections are right and correct. If something wasn't right, I would fix it. So I've had this motorcycle now for about 15 years. I've driven it up through the Grand Tetons. I've driven, my wife and I have driven thousands of miles together on trips on this bike. I have owned about 24 Honda CB750s, and this is the one I planned on always keeping. Mechanically, it's perfect. Brakes, suspension, they are tuned, they're modified, and they're zeroed in for a 185-pound rider. This motorcycle was specifically, in its most recent iteration, it was built specifically for rocketing through the beautiful Texas hill country at speed. Up and down, tight winding turns, long straight stretches where you're rocketing through, heavy on the tires. I have brand new tires here, but you can see already the new tires we like to wear out to the edges here, where you open it up to 100 miles an hour, dive into turns, and it just holds. It doesn't wobble, it doesn't shake, it doesn't shimmy, it does everything the way you would expect a modern performance motorcycle to behave. And yet it's a beautiful cafe racer. So I hope you enjoy it, I hope you like it. I'm asking a fair price, and some lucky person's gonna be able to take it home and just drive the wheels off it. Thank you for looking.